All right. Actually, that was perfect music. I love that one. Let me go ahead and make sure the stream is working well. All right. How is it going, guys? I just now switched it over to Yan. Yan above me here. Okay. Just testing the sound too. And good to go. Sweet. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Interview Thursday. Today, we have a very special guest from Florida, National Master Yan Miellier. And you guys may know him as ActionChess. So, Jan, how you doing today, and what is it you will be showing us today?
Hey, Mad. Hey, guys. First of all, happy to be here.
One second, sorry. I have
Uh-oh.
I have you output in the wrong spot here. I don't know why I did
problem.
that.
Ezra.
Yeah, let me go ahead and fix it
How's
real quick.
Wait, can you guys hear me?
You too. Okay, this should be good now. Go ahead and speak.
All right. Well, first of all,
Perfect.
I'm happy to be here. Hey, Mad. Hey, Chad. Hey, Ezra. Yes, Sood. Happy to be here. Really excited. I think today we're going to talk a little bit about perfect. I think we're going to talk a little bit about, my chess journey. I have a couple of games that I wanted to show you guys, and we here have a good time. We can just answer some questions and just
Yeah, have a good time, exactly.
have a good time, exactly.
So the segment, if you guys don't know, we go ahead and bring in people who are either coaches or masters or just really strong pro players who are going to guide us on their journey through their mastery of the game. And in this case, he's going to Jan here will be showing us games from his tournaments where he'll explain his thought process either before, during, after the game, and so on. So first off, I would like to know, and I'm sure the viewers would like to know, where you are from. Start with there.
So if you guys don't know, I'm originally from Ukraine. It's this country in Europe, from a city called Dnipro. The original name of the city is Dnipropetrovsk, made out of two names. One name, Dnipro, is the river, and then Petrovsky was a Russian scientist. Combined, you get Dnipropetrovsk, but with some of the recent stuff that's been happening, the city was renamed to just Dnipro.
But you can keep going. I'm just making sure that the sound was good. Sorry.
All right, perfect.
And when did you move here to the United States?
So about 5 years ago, a little bit over 5 years. So pretty excited about that one.
Awesome. And did you learn English while you were in Ukraine?
Yeah. So I learned a lot there, but I got my fair share of practice here.
Gotcha. Cool. And did you go here for school, or was it first for family or something like that?
It was, so the reason why I came to the United States is me and my family, why we moved here, is seeking better life. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And that's essentially what a lot of immigrants actually do. They seek better life, and
right.
I'm grateful to be here, and I consider this being a place where there are a lot of opportunities if you work hard.
Right. So. I completely agree with that. And when it comes to your chess journey, when you moved to Florida, were you surprised at the level of competition? Is it
well, the thing
same?
Is, so before I actually moved here 5 years ago, I visited a couple of times and I participated in some of the tournaments. Some of you guys might remember John Salisbury. He used to host some tournaments at University of Miami, and the chess scene kept on transitioning. We had some new tournaments, we had some less tournaments. There were tournaments that were not happening again. There were some new tournaments, but overall, that's a really good question. I don't think I had any particular thoughts. The thing is, I had my thoughts on overall the chess system here. I mean, the federation is different. The way it operates is different. The tournaments are so different. Learning all these things such as what is delay, because no one in Europe knows what delay is.
You guys use increment, right?
Exactly. And
Gotcha.
It's increment, and it's only increment, and you're so used to it. And then you get this thing called delay, and you're like, oh, okay.
Just another thing you got to learn.
Yep.
And this photo behind you, where is this from, and how old were you?
So this is from a competition back in my city in Ukraine. I think this was, I'm trying to remember. I think I remember what tournament this is. This was an individual tournament in memory of one of the coaches that did a lot for the chess school that I attended. And I'm trying to remember how old I was in this picture. I can't even remember. The thing is, I remember the game more than I remember how old I was when I played it. I remember it was, I think it was Was it a Benoni? It was either a Benoni or Sicilian, but I didn't play d6 at any point. So my opponent's queen, you can actually see it. It landed on d6, and I had to play like 98 to get it out.
Ooh, okay. That's kind of weird. But, I mean, with the Benoni structures, more power to you, because I really hate the Benoni.
Yeah, I ended up losing that game terribly.
Oh, okay. Those are the ones you remember the most.
Yep.
And learn the most from. All right, so we have your first tournament game here that you will be showing us is going to be between, it looks like Josh Harrison and a 2017 Amateur Team South. All right, so do you remember what round this was from?
I do
Beginning or
remember
end?
what round. This was towards the end, so out of
Okay.
that was round 3. That was round 3, and I mean the games that I picked, I felt like, you know, I played a lot of games, and I want to show the kids the games that were actually, one, interesting, and two, that I had some sort of story that I could tell. And this game and this tournament is very dear to me.
Okay.
Because not this game as more as the tournament, because I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but the Amateur Team South tournament is hosted once every year, right? And you have, you know, teams competing. You have the team out of 4 players with an average rating of 2,200. And there are 5 rounds, and the team that scores the most points becomes the champion of that region. Let's put it that way. And then they end up facing the winners of the North, East, and West in like in a. So you can consider this as a qualifier.
Yeah, qualifier for like regionals in a way.
In a way, yeah, exactly. Cool. So this is a yearly tournament. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask who was on your team.
Great question. Yeah. So in 2017, that was, I think, the second year that I played in that tournament. The year before, in 2016, we were one of the. We actually ended up playing the winning team in 2016 and losing to them in the last round.
Oh, snap!
So we were pretty close. But then this year, the team was Vlad Yanovsky, board 1, me, board 2, Miguel Fonseca is board 3, and then Dario Teodori is board 4.
Oh, wow.
I mean, very, very strong team. Back in the day, Fonseca wasn't a national master. His rating wasn't as high. My rating wasn't as high. Vlad's rating, I don't think was as high either. So we fitted perfectly under 2,200. And
oh, wow. So you guys are kind of sandbagging in a way, almost.
I mean, hey, we had a strong team. And our name was Mode Beast.
That's pretty cool. Hey, how's it going, Martin in chat? Feel free to ask questions, guys, while we're going through this. All right, so go ahead and start us off here with the game, and you're playing as white or black?
As I was playing as black in this game.
Okay, go ahead and flip the board here, and he's going to be moving the pieces along, so I actually get to do very little work. It's awesome.
Perfect. You get to enjoy the game, and I actually want you and everyone else to enjoy the game because it has a story, it has a nice ending. But yeah, so as I mentioned, this was a team tournament. We were one of the teams in the lead. Actually, I think we were the leading team going into this round. I think we won both of our first matches. We won the first match and the second match, and this was our third match. We were playing against Team Ludwig. So Ludwig was board 1. Joshua Harrison was board 2, and I'm trying to remember who was their board 3. I can't really remember their boards 3 and 4, but I know that it was strong players. So as we move along the game, I'll be making some comments about what was happening during the round, because you gotta keep in mind when you have team tournaments, you gotta see what's happening on all the other boards.
Right.
Winning the match overall is more important than winning individual game.
Right. And actually, this is new for us too. We haven't had a team setting for analysis yet, so I'm very excited to see.
Perfect.
Let's go.
Yeah, Martin. Exactly. So I was playing with black, and I mean, I could have picked other games. I have good games against Josh, but you know, I wanted to pick this one in particular. So we get some close Sicilian here, and I think it's worth mentioning that I'm not the biggest opening prep guy. I mean, granted, I've never been. I recently spoke with my coach from Ukraine, and he told me, you know, when I told him that, you know, I'm trying to do some work and trying to learn some openings now, but you know, it's hard for me. He's like, you've never been like that. Like the only time that he would study openings would be before the tournament. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Like we would do chess consistently in his group, but I mean, I did very little chess in my free time, unfortunately.
So you relied heavily on intuition and creativity.
Yeah, exactly. Gotcha. And like certain structures that I play. So
Ezreal G6, move 3, JK.
So we get some typical close Sicilian. I think it's worth mentioning that here E6 is not the most natural move. D6 is the most natural move. I mean, I'm even gonna tell you guys, I had a game in Championship of Ukraine in like 2012, I believe, and where I was playing against this girl who was actually from the same city as me, and in the position like this, instead of playing D6, I ended up playing 97. And after Bishop C5, I realized that something went terribly wrong. Terribly wrong there. So,
did you have any preparation for Josh before the game?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
I mean, I kind of going into the round, I feel like the most important thing for me is to kind of like prepare myself.
Okay.
I guess, and just to make sure that I'm in the right mindset. And again, we were sticking together as a group, and we were all gonna keep an eye on each other's games, and you don't really get a lot of time to prep either. But I also don't prep as much.
Okay, so
the times that I would prep is when I'm playing against like someone who's obviously like much stronger than me. Those are the times where I could actually prep, and I would prep.
So relying on the support system of your team is definitely a big contributing factor.
Absolutely. I mean, that team dynamic is crucial to the team performance.
Yeah, completely agree with that. I had a same thing. The amateur team, Ben Silva was our team leader, and he would always pump us up before each round, and it definitely changed the way that we approached each game. So, yeah, I completely agree with that. All right, cool.
Exactly.
Sorry, go ahead.
So, no, of course. So here, my opponent played Bishop F4. I played D6 anyway. I mean, he goes Queen D2, and I go H6. So H6 is a little bit of a weird move. The reason why I went H6 is to kind of, if I go 97, there's Bishop H6 there. So that's kind of annoying. But the thing about H6 that I didn't realize that when I move the knight away, I'm never going to be able to castle short.
Right.
Because the pawn on H6 is going to be hanging.
Okay.
So computer doesn't necessarily dislike this move. But I ran into some issues down the line. So I'm going to try not to spend as much time in the opening here. Knight F3, Knight E7, castle, Knight D4. So this is a very typical plan where you put one knight on D4 and one knight on C6. White usually does not place the bishop on F4. They place it on E3 with an idea of potential push on D4.
Okay.
And that's when you stick the knight on D4. You have the other knight supporting on C6. And you kind of prevent that D4 push.
Okay. So you kind of use this to your advantage, know that your knight can sit there for a bit.
Exactly. So, but now I go E5. He goes Bishop E3, and it feels like I was able to gain a little bit of space and finally get my pieces out. So here he decides to trade his bishop for the knight. I take. He goes Knight E2. I go Queen D7, and he goes C3. C3 is a nice move because he's kind of like blowing this whole structure up. I mean, if he doesn't do anything, I'm just gonna crush him with castle and F5.
Right.
Because the F file opens up, and the knight on F3 got absolutely no squares. So, I mean, maybe he has H4, but then there are all sort of things happening. And there's like, I remember calculating that I was going to attack him. So takes, I castle. He goes H4. H4 is the move that I didn't really consider. It looks a little bit weird for me. So I instantly play F5. He goes Knight H2. And, without too much thinking, I go F4.
Okay.
And here my opponent goes F3. So, and here pretty instant, not necessarily instantly. I thought about it a little bit, and I played F takes G.
Okay.
So let me ask you in the chat. Yeah, exactly. I was so confused. FG, he takes Knight G3. I just retrieve the bishop on E6. I go Bishop H3. What did I miss here, guys?
In the chat. Yeah, we have 6 viewers right now. So Martin, go for it. Ezreal, go for it.
Matt, go for it.
Oh. Okay, let's see. What did we miss? White to move. I mean, if knight takes bishop, the knight is not attacked anymore? Is it that simple?
Yep,
and then,
it is that simple.
And then the knight's defended by the pawn?
Knight G4.
All right, cool.
And Ezra as well. I mean,
Ezra, yeah.
terrible blunder. Absolutely overlooked, and I felt devastated.
I was looking for something deeper there. I was like, what?
Nope. It's as simple as that. So, in that moment in the game, if we looked at the other games, I remember looking to my left, seeing Vlad, and he was getting absolutely crushed in his game against Ludwig. I mean, he was getting crushed. I looked at the other boards and I was like, okay, this is, the positions there were very, very complicated. So I was like, oh God, this can't be happening. I mean, I always count as myself like as bringing in the points, but in this particular round, I thought that, okay, I have to, bring the win. And, arguably, like I always play for the win.
Right.
And here I am just blundering this. So what happened in the moment is I remember I had like a water bottle with me. And he takes knight g4, and did I think here before storming off? I think I played h5. I thought about it for a little bit because I didn't want to leave the game while it's my turn.
Right.
So I thought about it a little bit. I play h5 with a little trick of knight h6, king h7, and knight is trapped.
Right.
And this is where I left the tournament hall, grabbed like a bottle of water or something like that, and I went, I think, outside. I got a little bit of fresh air and just kind of like calmed myself down. And hey, Rookman, yeah, these are not gonna work. But I went outside, got a little bit of fresh air, and kind of told myself, just calm down. And this is very important because it tends to happen that I tend, just like anyone else, I tend to blunder. I think the most important thing is just kind of telling yourself that, hey, calm down, the game is not over. So I returned to the tournament area, and I'm being very focused. Like I was super, super focused. And I remember, I think I slammed like the bottle on the desk, kind of like this. And then funny enough, my opponent and John Ludwig started laughing about it. But I barely remember that because I was just so focused in the game. Now I kind of told myself that, hey, I'm not going to lose this game, because I felt the extra added pressure of playing for the team, and I just couldn't believe that I was going to lose like that. A whole point out of 4 for the team.
Right.
So
he had to
goes
fight
knight
on hard.
e3. Exactly. Knight e3, bishop h6. He goes knight g3, and I go rook f4. I mean, I'm down a piece. I'm just trying to collect as much material as I can. And he goes knight d5 here. I take knight d5. He takes, and here I play move king h7. Very precise, because if you go king g7, it might bite you.
Wow. Okay.
Particularly because of this. If the king was on g7, knight f5 would be a check, and the queen would be able to take the rook. So it was very important to go king h7 here. And the reason why it's important to go move the king at all is because this bishop is hanging because of the pin. So if I want to get this pawn, which I absolutely do, because I need at least some sort of compensation for the piece that I'm down, I have to go for something like this. So queen f2, rook h4, knight f5. The thing is, all of this leads to trades. And that's not necessarily something that is good for me, because I want to keep as many pieces on the board as possible. But, the trades just keep happening. They just keep coming.
Yeah, so you're just...
But my hope is to try to close the position a little bit and make this bishop not as good, get some sort of initiative, counterattack. I mean, arguably, objectively, this is not good for black. I think we can all agree. But, I can't just forfeit here and give up. So queen f7, putting some pressure on d5. He goes c4 to defend it. I go b5, kind of trying to blow up this whole structure. Goes queen c2. I go rook f8, kind of tripling on the f file with ideas to push g4 somewhere down the line. Rook f3, and let me see, when rook f3.
Great questions, guys. Keep it up.
Which point rook f3? Here maybe?
Rook f3, then rook
with
knight.
I think maybe here.
Interesting. Yeah, where the queen's hit, but bishop follows, you hit the...
Maybe here?
Seems a little too... Feels kind of odd. I do like black here, actually, kind of.
Yeah, rook e3 and everything is... I mean, maybe you can just play rook g4, but you can go like rook f1 and... I don't know, maybe that was a thing. But the thing is, I didn't want to simplify too much.
Right.
So, go back to king g7. Okay. Let me see. King g7. King g7 here, he means maybe here, here, here?
We have the one and only.
I mean, this is a fun game, and it has a fun story. So this is the reason why.
We have his opponent here in the chat, but obviously this has a great story behind it. And Josh, feel free to go ahead and input some of your thoughts as well. All right, go ahead and continue. So from here, just feels.
I think I'm trying to figure out what Rookman
Yeah.
was saying. I hope I wasn't going too fast, but Rook F3 and Rook takes knight.
Yeah, there might be a slight stream delay. Sorry about that, guys. So you might have to wait 20 seconds for us to respond correctly.
Oh God.
Yeah. Hashtag Twitter.
All right. I guess I didn't want to simplify too much. That's the thing. Maybe there was something, but I didn't want to simplify the position too much. So D4. I mean, good move, opening the position up.
Yeah.
So I take here, he takes here, and I push G4. He takes here, and here I'm trying to feel, you know, I have some chances. Obviously, he could have played Rook F4, Queen F4, Queen F4, Rook F4, and you know, if with a precise play, I mean, it should be really bad for Black really quickly. Something like this, and maybe this. But you know, trying to find chances, and Rook F1. Rook F1 is a mistake because of Queen G6, and all of a sudden Black is winning because Queen G2 is exactly it's a mate threat, and how do you defend? Because also the Rook on E4 is being attacked. So Rook F3 is pretty much the only move. Rook F3, and he takes on D6. I mean, White had to go back like Queen E2 here, but he takes on D6.
May I ask a question about the setting here? So,
of course.
Has any of your teammates finished their games? What's the score going on? And
good point. So the things did not get better on the boards.
Okay.
It was still very complicated on boards 3 and 4. Board 1, I couldn't understand what was going on between Vlad and John, Vlad Yanovsky and John Ludwig. It was very messy, and yeah, all the games were still playing, and you know, we were getting to the time scramble. So, and all 4 games were still being played. So
and of course, it's hard to focus on everyone else while you're trying not to lose a game.
Yeah, but I was still paying very close attention.
Okay.
So here I play Rook G3, which is a huge mistake. Rook F2 instantly wins the game because Queen G2 is unstoppable. Rook G3, similar idea, but the thing is it allows Queen E2.
Okay.
I don't think Kai was board 3. Josh, Kai was not board 3 there.
He's doing story time right now, man. This is story time. This is great. You're learning a lot here.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Hey, Rook F2. I'm gonna follow. Thanks, Brickman. Go for it.
Kai was board 3. No way Kai was board 3. No way he had that game against Fonseca.
And was Ryan Hemley? Is that who you're talking about? Was board 4? This is 2017.
Is it possible that Kai was board 3? Maybe I'm wrong actually. Rook F2 was winning.
Okay.
Rook G3, and then Queen E2, and I realized I started shaking my head in disbelief because I thought Rook G3 was winning, and then the moment he played Queen E2, I was like, oh, Rook F2 was just winning.
Gotcha. Oh, that's gotta hurt.
So I go King G7 here. Computer says that it's a draw here. Different ways. You can go like Queen G5 or something, but I play King G7, and this is good for White again. The reason why I moved the king away is because I want to, again, kind of like avoid certain trades, and you gotta keep in mind this pawn. I mean, 2 moves and it promotes.
Right.
So King G7, D7, H4. I mean, this is just losing for Black. So Queen E6 is a mistake. Rook E8 was a winning move. And the reason why is because D8 is just
unstoppable. Unless you
pretty much. You can go here because of this.
Then check.
And this promotes with a check. So, and if you try to like throw in a check somewhere or something, like yeah, you're controlling the D8 square right now, but in 2 moves, White is just going to take on F8 and then, you know, bring in the queen.
Yeah. Oh my
so, but he plays Queen E6, and that was the glimmer of hope. You can put it that way. So Queen takes on E6, Pawn takes on E6, and H3. And at this point, this is where I realized, wait, this is not lost. So Rook E8, there's a nice finish here. Rook G2, king h1. I think around this time, some of the games started wrapping up.
Uh-huh.
I think boards 3 and 4 finished their games, and I think that boards 3 and 4 won their games. I believe. Yeah, they did. They did win their games. But look, check this out, guys.
Rook d2 to stop the pawn promotion.
Exactly. So here, I think queen e6, queen e6. Here, this is where I saw this idea. h3, rook e8, rook g2 check, king h1. And it's very precise that you go rook d2,
right? Because
d8 is a threat. You go rook d2. He goes e7, and you get this nice idea of perpetual.
And the rook is stopping. Oh my gosh. That's
exactly.
ridiculous.
The king, exactly. I mean, white is literally about to queen both of their pawns. Everything is hanging in the air like this, but you have this amazing resource.
Oh my gosh. That is ridiculous. And even if he didn't take your pawn, it's still the same thing. If he was a G pawn, that'd be a different story.
True. Yeah. True. But yeah, this is just there's nothing white could do after queen e6.
Okay.
I mean, this is pretty much forced. Rook e8 here is actually the only move for white too. But I mean, it's the most natural one. But queen e6 was already a mistake. Yeah, queen e6 was a check. Queen e6 was a check.
So you both were I guess both were trying to play for a draw here in a sense. Once
I mean,
kind of went back and
I
forth.
guess in a way, funny enough, Vlad ended up drawing his game against Ludwig, and he told me after the game that he was like, funny enough, throughout the tournament, none of his results really mattered because boards 3 and 4 really carried. I guess I was carrying a little bit too, except for this game.
Yeah.
Whatever. Boards 3 and 4 were really carrying the team, and he was like, none of his results at the end of the tournament, none of Vlad's results contributed to the team. Like if he would have went 0-5, which he didn't, we would have still won as a team because we won that year. So
it wasn't as much pressure.
Well, for him, it was at the end of the tournament, but he approached me after the game. He was like, "Come on, man!" Like he drew almost like a miraculous game against Ludwig, and he was like, "I don't even get to enjoy it because you drew your game and we won on boards 3 and 4, so my result didn't even contribute to the overall standing of the match."
So harsh. Oh.
So
but that's good to have team members like that. Like they're all expecting the best and highest form from you.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun, and you know, after that, we ended up playing 2 more matches, and we ended up winning, I think, both of them. And I mean, we got very lucky in the last match, but we were playing another Miami team, but you know, we ended up winning that year, and that was good. That was good. I remember it like it was 3 years ago.
And yeah, that's awesome. That's a really cool idea that you found there.
Yeah, I mean, kind of got lucky, and it's definitely not the best game I've ever played. Definitely.
Yeah, I was surprised you played Rook G3 there. I was actually expecting you to say Rook G2, and then you messed up later.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but it happens to all of us. And the thing is, like to me, it's very important whenever I make a mistake to just stay calm. And the moment I realized that I didn't play Rook F2. I played Rook G3 instead. It was still kind of like keeping your nerves under control. So
yeah, being down a piece and having to bounce back like that, yeah, that's where you gotta feel good, right?
Yeah, I mean, it felt great after the game, but definitely during the game I was not like that. Like I did not. Well, yeah, calm. Trust me, that was more calm than it could have been. Yeah, Vlad was. I know you guys were laughing. I mean, I came back and I literally like slammed the bottle on the desk.
Oh no!
Because I was upset at myself, but when I blundered, but
tournament etiquette. Yep.
Never give up.
You're good.
So
especially what's expected. All right, and so now you have a second game here, correct?
I do have a second.
All right, let's go for it.
So
thank you very much for showing the first one there, and thanks Josh as well as giving us some of your input.
Yeah, that was a fun game. I mean, I told you guys that it wasn't the best game, but it was a fun one to play, definitely. And there was a little bit of tug and pull between both sides.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely not the best. All right, moving on, guys. So let's go back in time. We were in 2017. Let's go back in time to 2018. All right, no COVID. You know, everything was great. Life was good, but this is a tournament called Chicago Open, happening in Chicago. I don't know if you guys heard of it or not, but very, very strong tournament. I think one of the strongest tournaments that you can find in United States. And I was playing in the open section, and I think it was in May of 2018, and I played really well. I studied a lot before that tournament, and this is one of the games I played.
Okay.
When I say that I played very well, I guess I should be very careful throwing statements like that. I was playing fine. Let's put it that way. I had some decent results
to your personal ability. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess I got some rating points that tournament. But
did you prepare to go to this tournament weeks ahead of time, or was it kind of like a spur of the moment thing?
Yeah, definitely. So that tournament was definitely an investment. I mean, from a financial standpoint, it's like it's what was it? It was like 5 days, maybe 6 days in Chicago. So definitely, all the expenses and all the time that I was putting out, I had to make sure that I was preparing for it. And I saw the result. Like I played much better, and I got I think I got 4.5 out of 9 or something, or like 5 out of 9 in the open section there, which was good. I drew a GM. I had a very fun game against another very, very strong GM. So it was a good tournament. So in this game, I was playing against this guy, John Chow. Never heard of him before.
Okay.
And we got Slav here. And one of the things that I prepared for that tournament with this variation in Slav, Shebenenko.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm gonna give you guys an advice. You guys should know Boris Gelfand. He's a very strong Israeli grandmaster. He has a couple of books that he published a couple of years ago. One of them is called it's called Positional Decisions, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And that book really helped me. And that book really elevated my positional understanding, which basically came from non-existent to at least something. And in that book, he reviews a lot of games in this variation. I think there are some games that he played. There are some games that Vichy played. He looked at a lot of Kiba Rubinstein games there. So great book, highly recommended. And then I think 2 years later, he published another one called Dynamic Chess, Making Dynamic Decisions. So I haven't read that one, but these are the books that I can really recommend, and these are the books that really helped me.
Gotcha. I'm actually very much looking forward to see how you use the Shebenenko, as I'm not sure what I would like to do my repertoire against d4. I've tried the Shebenenko a couple of times. It feels kind of off to me, but perhaps you have some ideas I haven't seen yet. So
Shebenenko is fairly simple in a way that if white doesn't really do anything after a6, you can go b5. I mean, the probably the most critical line is c5.
Okay.
And here you can go bishop g4, bishop f5. But let's say you go bishop f5, and if queen goes to b3, rook a7 is a very typical idea, which might look ridiculous and crazy. And that's when you read.
Yeah, this is the line I don't like at all.
Book. But it's fine, actually, because if you think about it that way, white is, using their queen to attack a pawn and we're using a rook to defend it. You get me? Like, white is actually spending, more resources for this. So
interesting. Okay.
And eventually the queen moves away and the rook comes back. There are a lot of games in this.
Yeah. We got a question from Esri that was declined for some reason. Can you talk about when white plays an early c5? Okay.
There it is.
Yep, perfect. Okay, cool.
So there are a lot of videos about this. There are a lot of videos about this. There are a lot of books about this, and I can definitely recommend checking out some videos online as well on this. So very, very, very typical. A lot of games. The bishop can go in g4 as well. And this also happens.
Okay.
But personally, I was ready for these lines, and I was kind of prepped for it.
Mhm.
I guess you can say. My opponent goes bishop d3 here, so here you can also go bishop g4 if you want to, but I went for this line called b5, for this b5 line.
Okay.
My opponent goes b3, and I go bishop g4 here. The thing about one of the reasons why I picked this variation is because you don't have to be too precise with your moves. The move order is not necessarily as important. You have the option to
Be flexible.
that you can pick and choose from. Yeah, exactly. You can be flexible. You can play b5. Or you can play bishop g4, depending on how you feel about it.
Now,
both work, but both can happen.
I know you as a very tactical player. I'm surprised that you're playing the Slav. What was the? Did you want to practice your positional sense, or?
Exactly. That tournament was right after the after I finished reading that book. I actually started reading the book before the tournament. I don't think I finished it in the moment of the tournament, but exactly. I mean, I'm a tactical player, and I ran into some problems playing with black, and got to the point where tactical chess wasn't enough. Like
Okay.
I needed to come up with positional chess too. I needed to work on that.
Very interesting. All right, cool. And it's incredible that you're testing these ideas in a big tournament.
Yeah,
That's the best way to do it.
I mean, it was that's really a good time to practice. I mean, you can make an argument that maybe that's not the best time to practice, but I felt like that's what I wanted to do.
Okay, gotcha.
So 92 e6, he goes queen c2, I go knight e7, he goes bishop b2. Again, you don't have to be too precise here, so that's one of the reasons why I played it.
Yeah.
Not sure about rook c8, I'll be completely honest, but we get to this position, bishop h5. So here bishop h5 was already a mistake. I should have taken on c4 first, dc. Okay. He takes, and then I can go bishop h5. Okay. What happened was I overlooked something. After bishop h5, you get cb immediately.
Oh.
And everything is happening.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have to take here and just kind of roll with this. I mean, looks like I'm getting crushed completely in 14 moves, right? You guys were so excited about Chebanenko. Yan is going to show some, positional chess understanding. No. Getting crushed completely.
Forcing play passive
queen
moves,
c8.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at this. I mean, this is absolutely terrible for black. But the thing is, one of the reasons why I picked this game as well is if there's one thing that I can say that I'm proud of myself as a chess player, is resourcefulness. And I think that resourcefulness is one of the best qualities that you can have as a chess player.
Okay. You're
able to find these different ideas in different positions. And, if you don't give up, that can really, really change, the course of the game. I mean, we saw the last game, and now we're going to, look at this game. And we're going to see that, it's not over till it's over.
Right.
So, and finding all these different resources and finding all these different ways how you can trick your opponent. I mean, Magnus Carlsen, one of the reasons why he's, so good and how he changed our understanding of end games is exactly that way. He keeps putting his opponents through these challenges and problems, and eventually they make mistakes.
Even though he's not strictly speaking a openings expert. More of like play, and try to beat me.
Probably. I mean, he probably knows a little bit more about openings than us.
Yeah, but it's been known that Magnus doesn't study as deep as some particular players. Like one person specializes in a particular opening, and he will go ahead and still survive throughout the opening phase, even if he's slightly worse. And that
True.
Probably has to do with you saying he's resourceful.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
So here I go g5. I mean, if I don't do something now, I'm just gonna get crushed by rook e8 and rook c8. I mean,
yeah.
No. So I have a queen for 2 rooks. So he goes rook a8, but the thing is, I have no space for my queen. So he goes rook c8. I mean, looks just crushing, right? b4, king g7.
Good point, Martin.
Knight b3. I mean. Yeah, I agree with you, Martin.
Yeah.
Knight b6, and here my opponent goes rook b8. And I think this is a huge mistake because what he should have done was knight c5. I have to go for queen c8 line. If I don't go for queen c8, well, my queen got almost no squares. I go to e7. I mean, everything is just, he can just take here now. You know, this is bad. This is also bad. The trick here was the reason why he couldn't play rook f8 here because of knight a8, right? So rook b8, queen c8. So he should have played knight c5 here.
Okay.
The reason why he plays knight c5, take, knight a6. I go knight d6, he goes knight c7. b5 is falling. I mean, this is crushing.
Two connected passes, yeah.
No chance. But here he played rook b8 first. Queen c8, rook c8, knight c5. Okay, he lost a tempo. What is the difference? Well, the difference is that now I can either go knight d6 or bishop g6. Well, let's say I go bishop g6, that's what it ended the game. Bishop e2, and now I go knight d6. Okay. He takes on a6. I have time to defend on b5. How did I do that? Bishop c2. So that was the idea behind bishop g6.
And if you were to capture on g6?
If he was to capture on g6, I would just take, let's say, I don't know, probably with a king.
Okay.
And if he takes, I just go. I don't even have to go knight d6 anymore because b5 is not hanging anymore. I can just, you know, start getting my pieces out.
Okay. Nothing to worry about.
And he's kind of stuck with this bishop. I mean, I'm not an endgame expert.
Okay.
And
I was curious about a4 here, but yeah.
Could be interesting, but I don't think you have
enough.
I don't think you can afford that.
Okay.
c5 will just, yeah, but not a bad idea. Okay. Maybe later could happen. So all this happens. I found this bishop c2 resource, knight c7, bishop a4. So here I'm kind of like holding. I'm holding. I mean, he has two bishops, you know, but the position is kind of locked. He can't really use them. So he goes e4, trying to open it up, which I think is very, very interesting move. I end up taking, goes d5 check. King g6, that's exactly what he did, right? He was up a pawn, but what he did instead that he sacrificed that pawn, but look what happened. His pieces got out.
Right.
And he's kind of leaving me with bad pawns now. So look what happens. He goes bishop e5. I go knight c4. He takes, I take. He takes. So here, I play knight e6. Yeah. Here, I missed a move king f5. Here, I had a move king f5 that I missed.
e7 looks scary. But then,
I take with a knight.
Okay,
I wasn't sure if it was better to take with a knight or with a pawn. I spent a lot of time here from what I can remember, and I decided to take with the knight. And he ends up taking. So if we take a second here, and white plays g4. This is the critical moment. Here I spend about, can you unclick louder? Okay. Here I spent about maybe 20, 30 minutes.
Wow.
I spent a lot of time here. And I kind of realized that this is a critical moment because white is no longer down a pawn. But if you look at the structure, the way it has changed is bad for black. If I don't do anything right now, white can just, let's say, go with this plan.
Yeah.
And they can start pushing this pawn. One of the ways. The thing is, everything is locked. And if I try to bring my king, let's say, well, there's already bishop f6.
And
then h6, bishop g7. And I start losing everything. So here, Ezra is suggesting bishop d1 and h5, and that it actually does not work. I spent a lot of time there in the game, and that was my first instinct. So I did play h5. White goes h3. I take, he takes. Here I spent, for the whole thing, I spent like 30 minutes. I did look at bishop d1. It does not work. I do not have enough time. And even with,
oh my gosh.
So check it out. Right here, this is where I got in the tank. This is where I was like, okay, this is the critical moment. Because the thing is, I didn't think this was lost. If this was lost, I knew that I don't understand anything about chess, which could actually be the case. This could be lost for black. But I found this idea, h5, h3, right? Takes. So what is happening here? Well, here, this might look crazy, and it is crazy, but I think this is the only way to make a draw here.
Either,
at least in a human way. Because computer can be suggesting king f7, but then he suggests to make the move that I made. And the move is c3.
Oh.
Looks ridiculous, right? And looks like, why would you play that? But I found this idea. And what I'm doing essentially is I'm giving up my pawns. I'm giving up 2 pawns. Dr. Strange, we're in the endgame now. Exactly. I'm giving up 2 pawns. Look at this.
Yep.
c3, bishop c3, e5. But I'm opening up
e6,
the diagonals. So I need to go after the g4 pawn, and I need to go after it as soon as I can, because if I don't do it now, I might not get a chance to do it later. Because what white can do also, they have a plan of going king g2, king g3, and then potentially, let's say, putting the bishop on d4 and pushing f3 or f4, something like that. And I think maybe this is not as good for white, but I thought that I have to do something now. And the computer actually agrees with me, because if you don't do something here, I mean, these pawns are going. So I was very proud of myself when I found this move c3. He takes, and I found this move e5. The idea is, oh, I know now. The main idea, I remember now. The main idea why bishop b1 is bad is because white can play b5 right away. So the idea was to attack the pawn from d7. And that way, white doesn't have the time to push b5 just yet, because the bishop is still controlling the square.
Right.
But the only way to do it is to get the bishop off e5.
Right.
And the only way to do that is to distract him with the move c3.
So
because if I don't do
backward.
anything here, exactly, if I just keep on going back and forth with my king, white has a pretty simple plan here. So
and you can't leave the g pawn because the bishop.
Exactly. So I go e5. He goes king f1 here, but I can go bishop d7 now. So, and the reason why I have to do it now, because if I do it even a move later, if the king is already on g2, it's not going to work, right? Here,
square.
Exactly. You might ask, oh, what happens if he goes king g2? Well, then maybe I can go king f6. And here I'm kind of defending everything. And here maybe I can hold everything, because the bishop is going to be attacking and defending both sides at the same time. So white's king is kind of going to be stuck here as well. So he goes king f1, bishop d7, he takes, I take now. He goes bishop c7, a little bit of a weird move, because I was so sure he was going to push the pawns now, but he didn't. He goes bishop c7. I go bishop e6, provoking
e5.
the pawn to move.
Yeah.
a3. I don't think
a3.
If he goes b5, I can just take, and if b6, I got time.
Yeah.
So, but I'm provoking one of the moves. Why am I doing that? Well, if he goes a3, then I can go something like, let's say, like bishop d7.
Full control.
And get, no. I'm trying to remember why there was a reason why that I wanted to provoke the pawn move. I think it was try to use the fact that the king is already far away. I don't know. I'll be honest with you guys. Bishop e6. For some reason, it felt right in the game.
Okay.
But he goes king e2. So here I just take. He goes king e3. But the thing is, here he advances with the king a lot. So here I have to be very careful, because if he gets some sort of a setup where he can just hold everything and just help escort his b pawn with his king, then it's not good. So bishop d5 here was pretty low in time, I think. But he goes king d4. I know it looks scary, and especially the fact that I'm moving the bishop in this direction where the king is going anyway. But I get all these ideas how I can sabotage this side of the board.
Yeah.
So he goes king e5. I just kind of wait. He goes here. I push g4. He goes bishop h4. I go king h5. He goes bishop g3. Still wasn't sure about the result. King g5, king d6, bishop a8, 5, king f5, bishop h2, and here e3. E3 is the easiest way to make a draw here. Again, I kept the bishop on this diagonal, right? He's blocked, but the reason why I'm playing e3 is not necessarily to open the bishop up as much, but because I have an initiative here.
Yeah.
I'm attacking here. And if he goes bishop g1, she did in the game, I get king f3. And now white's bishop is uncomfortable. It was very important not to play king. No, king g2 here was also playable.
Okay.
But I got scared. I got scared here. So it was g3. Yep. Hardest choices require the strongest wills. Quoting Thanos. So here is just an easy draw, just moving back and forth.
Opposite color bishop endgames.
Yep, and you know, I wouldn't say that I had a huge understanding of that, but the
c3
the move, exactly, the move that I'm most proud of is c3, and finding this idea of attacking the pawn on g4 from this side of the board, because I don't know, like I spent a lot of time here, and through, you know, some logical process, I realized that it's critical for me to get this pawn right now.
Yeah, it's really cool. You're using the fact that your pawns are weak to your advantage. Like, oh, they're probably gonna fall anyway. Might as well use them to decoy.
Yeah, and it hurts me more to have them because they're blocking my bishop.
Yeah, it's really cool. How strong was your opponent again? I forgot. Roughly?
He definitely was a national master. I actually let me see if I can find information on him.
I know I've seen that name before.
He was strong. He played well. We talked a little bit after the game. He got over 2,200 FIDE standard, 2244.
Solid. Wow.
Yeah, no, the guy overall played like very well in the tournament, and we talked a little bit after the game. The guy was like, you know, he knew what he was doing. I mean, I got lucky there again that I didn't lose, you know, around this point. I mean, I was not too happy with myself, and you know.
Yeah, actually, I had a question on this position. The move back to d7. Would it be wrong to sacrifice your knight to keep play going by playing king g7?
There's no need to do that just yet.
Okay.
The thing is, if king g7, rook f8, and you know I get to like invade him somewhere with my queen,
right?
It's one thing. The thing is, once this knight falls, you know, I still don't get any more moves. Like nothing has changed, but I'm also just down a knight on top of everything. Okay.
Yeah, that was like my first instinct move. I just didn't know if it would be okay to like hopefully get some initiative.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You don't get any. You get me? Like, yes, you get the rook off the c file. I agree with you. But the thing is, one, you're not threatening anything because you have literally no squares.
Right.
And two, the rook can just go right back.
Okay.
Whatever.
It's kind of shaky. Yeah.
Exactly. So the initiative that you're getting is not really worth anything. So here you're just trying to hold for as long as you can.
And after this game, did you try playing the Shabanenko again if you had the opportunity?
I did, and I did play it again, and I have decent results in it.
That's cool that you got into an endgame. I was really curious to see your endgame skills. I was happy to see that one.
It can be good. It can be depends on the endgame. But
awesome. Thank you so much, Jan. This was really fun to watch your games here and your thought process through each game, especially. And I think the chatters also have had a good time, some of which are from your stream, it looks like.
Of course.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. I mean, this was awesome. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad that I was able to share some of the games with you guys. If you have any questions, I mean, you guys can always reach out. I mean, shout out to Matt as well. Thank you guys for doing this. This is fun. I'm not the first one to do this, so guys, you can check out the videos of other people who's done it. There were national masters there. There were
coaches, Jay Stallings.
Exactly.
Yep.
And they give their perspective on chess as a whole, showcase some of their games as well. So definitely check them out as well.
And looks like this month we have a lot of people coming in from Florida, not just Jan. One, I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be yes, but you guys will know him if he's able to. It's going to be really fun to have him as well. And anyway, go ahead and give a follow to ActionChess at ActionChess on Twitch. He does a lot of streams on there as well. Oh, and he just gave us a follow too. Cool. Kind of weird. All right. So anyway, thank you again. We're gonna go ahead and cut off the stream now. If you are on YouTube, hello YouTube. Feel free to follow us. Palm Beach Chess, Twitch. We also have a bunch of YouTube videos as well if you guys are into openings, especially. Brian Tillis is an opening specialist, so if you have something specific you would like to look for, check on there. And if it's not on there, go ahead and put a comment and be like, you cover a video on this, you might do it. Anyway, thank you again, Jan. Hope everyone has a great night, and we shall see you around. Let's see if we can raid somebody. Is Orlando Chess hopping on?
I think Martin just went live.
Yeah? All right, let's go ahead and send a mini raid here. Let's see. Yep, let's do it. All right,
let's do this, guys. Thanks for being here. These were some fun games, and yeah, I miss over the board chess, and hopefully we will all get to see each other and play in the near future.
Yeah. All right, I think I did it right this time. And maybe we'll add some WoW